Bonjour tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, c'est jeudi le 20 janvier. Le mot de passe, if you've not yet completed your Flipgrid, remember to do so. J'ai oublié. J'ai oublié. Et la chanson, each of these are linked back to where you can find info about them. So the mot de passe is linked back to the slide where le mot de passe for the week is explained. Et la chanson, this is linked back to yesterday's agenda, so you can see the song itself as well as the fill-in activity. So please make sure you do that. It is for a grade. TPR, also going back to yesterday's agenda, it will take you through the same movements we've been doing for a while, but we need to make sure we have them down cold as we move on to some other stuff this quarter. Finally, you have an activity to do today called Les Animaux de Compagnie, and it is to accompany a novel we're going to be reading called Brandon Brown veut un chien. So let's take a look at that. Les animaux de compagnie en France. Les animaux de compagnie, we know this term from Personne spéciale. An animal de compagnie, a pet. So les animaux de compagnie en France, we're going to look at what types of pets are popular in France. So this just explains that we're going to be reading a book called Brandon Brown veut un chien. We'll actually just be reading part of it in the online class. But still, we'll be getting to know the character, Brandon Brown, and we'll learn about how he wants a dog. Il veut un chien. So the story itself includes some vocabulary having to do with pets in general and dogs specifically. So we are going to take a look at that related concept en France. So what you're going to do is, if you click on your link, it'll take you to Schoology. And this attachment. So first we have an infographie, an infographic, which is, if you're not familiar with the word infographic, it's just as the name implies, information that's given in graphic form. It's great for learning language because the words that are there are very, or I should say, the sentences are very concise, usually have a picture to go along with them, so it makes reading a little bit less overwhelming. So, les animaux de compagnie en France. Un foyer sur deux. Un sur deux. 1 out of 2 possède un animal. Il y a 61,6 millions d'animaux de compagnie en France. And that is not too far from the actual population of France, which is about 65 million, so almost 1 to 1. Et voici les animaux les plus populaires. Poisson, chat, chien. Now, I say les plus populaires, the most popular. However, that's kind of not quite right because when you look at the fact that we're talking about numbers here, if you have a fish tank, you might have a whole bunch of fish, but people don't typically have more than a couple of dogs at most. So it makes sense that there would actually be number-wise more fish than dogs or cats, but that's not to say that these two aren't more popular than poisson as a pet. Les races de chiens et de chats préférées des Français. Les races. Race. We have the word race, obviously, in English that refers more to human beings. Les races de chiens is talking about breeds of dogs. Just happens to be the same word en français. Le berger allemand. If you recognize that breed, it literally means German shepherd. Le golden retriever, le cavalier King Charles, le labrador, et le Yorkshire terrier. So the only one that actually has a real French word for it is le berger allemand. Et les races de chat, le persan, le sacré de Birmanie, le Maine Coon, le Chartres, et le British short hair. So those give you some ideas of what types of chiens et chats sont populaires en France. Okay, le marché des animaux de compagnie. Le marché meaning market or money that is spent on les animaux de compagnie. 3,5 milliards d'euros par an. Milliards, c'est billion. So this is a good amount of money that's spent every year on les animaux de compagnie. Il y a l'alimentation, feeding, les accessoires, collars, toys, etc. Hygiène et soins, so their shots, vet visits, different types of grooming tools or getting them groomed, etc. So that 3,5 milliards is spent on all of these. Dépenses moyennes, so staying with the theme of spending money. Dépenses, say spending, moyenne par an. So the average spending par an per year. Pour un chien, 800 euros. I know this kind of looks like a cat. It's actually a dog. Un chien. Et pour un chat, this one is actually a cat, 600 euros par an. So when it comes to feeding, grooming, and all the other stuff that you need for an animal, pour un chien, 800 euros par an every year. Et pour un chat, 600 euros par an. So they spend a good deal of money on their pets. 3% des animaux sont assurés en France. They are insured. So those are probably the animals that are of very high class breeding and that kind of stuff. But intéressant. Don't know the answer to that or the statistic for the US for that one. Achats sur Internet. So we talk about les achats, purchases. Les achats sont sur Internet pour l'alimentation, food, 2,1%, et pour les accessoires, accessories, 5,9% are purchased online. Now, something important to note down here is take a look at when most of this information comes from. 2008, 2009, 2010, quite a long time ago. So since that point in time, there has been obviously an uptick in the amount of online shopping that we do. So these numbers are probably much higher right now. Okay, et voilà. So that is l'infographie that you'll use. And then down here, again, I can't stress to you enough, you're using the infographic for this assignment. This is not just looking up the answers on Google Translate because that's not what the exercise is. You need to be showing me your reading comprehension from up here down here. So I want you to try to find the word for pets, at least, breeds. What's the main idea? Do the following fact appear in the infographie, oui ou no? Some of these just are not mentioned in the infographic at all. That's part of the exercise, leaving the blank ones blank. Many of them are included though. So for the ones that are included, put a little X mark here and then answer, what do you see in the infographic that shows you that the detail is mentioned? So, le foyer, les accessoires, et les achats. Do your best, see if you can find those in context above, and do your best to see what you can figure out about them. What do they mean in English? Just give it your best guess. Again, I don't want you to use an outside translator, so if you're really stumped, maybe just put the sentence in which it appears down here, and then just say, I really can't figure it out. So at least you're putting something. You're showing me you found it in the article, even if you weren't able to take a guess at what it means. Dernière chose, last thing, some inference using the article, using the infographie. You're going to answer the question, what do you think the author of the infographic put the dogs and cat breeds in the order they did? Or excuse me, why do you think they did? So up here, they don't seem to be in any particular order, but what is just a guess you can make about why they're in that order? Once you're finished, you can hit submit and you'll be all set. So that is really the biggest thing for today, the biggest assignment for today. Everything I mentioned previously was really just catch up from yesterday. So make sure you have completed these. They are due tomorrow, so make sure you're working on them. I will also give you some time, or kind of build in some time tomorrow for you to complete the Les Animaux de Compagnie. So go ahead and do that, and you'll be all set for today. Au revoir tout le monde.